everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Nona from The Alliance Lover. I have the final Venus style video for you today. We're finally looking at Venus in Pisces style. So before we get into the examples, let's just talk briefly about the sign Pisces. Traditionally, it was ruled by Jupiter, which is all about expansion, freedom, optimism, and generosity. And now it is ruled by Neptune, the planet of fantasy, dreams, illusion, sometimes dissolving boundaries altogether. Element is water, the mode is mutable, and this really ties into the way that Pisces is really good at digesting and assimilating seemingly disparate elements and harmonizing them together. So that's why I chose the yin-yang sign to really represent the Venus in Pisces style, because they're really good at bridging different extremes, pairing them together without watering them down, and somehow making it look beautiful and harmonious. So what you'll see is a mix of different textures, structure with more flow, different fabrics, different finishes, and mixing of conventionally feminine and masculine styles. So our first example is Victoria Beckham. She looks really lovely when she wears very structured pieces and then adds on these little unexpected touches and plays with different fabrics and colors. In this one, she has this beautiful little contrast going on with this very dreamy blue color and the very satiny black of the lapel and the stripe down the side of the legs. She mixes it with a matte white t-shirt, very different fabric weights. The very flowy or unstructured t-shirt with a more traditional kind of suit formula. Here she has the same kind of shape going on, except this time she is wearing this interesting coat or jacket, which is buttoned up on top, and then she leaves the bottom trailing behind her, kind of like a cape, very fantasy driven, at least how I look at it. It really reminds me of a fairy tale cape, but transcribed to modern times. She has this unexpected little lace detail on her sleeve, the fun pops of white, stark white against very deep black with the collar and the shoes. Here she plays with these drapey, wider pants, these interesting patent leather kind of loafer heel, or sorry, not loafer heels, Oxford or Baroque heels. Lace up kind of shoes. And then here, sneakers, trousers, and this really interesting kind of neckline or collar. And they all kind of make her iconic style. All of this bridging these different elements, but there's obviously structure there. Here, the same thing going on. And then over here, when she goes too far in one extreme and doesn't really integrate the other end, it looks very unnatural. Here it's just a little too traditionally feminine, too much of that very sensual kind of detailing, and it looks very separate from her. Next up, we have Emma Watson. Again, looks amazing in these kind of structured, traditional, very clean outfits, but with these very interesting, unexpected touches. So here, very classic, very clean boat neck top, trousers, but she pairs it with this interesting sweeping floor length detail to one side, and it's really unexpected and it really makes sense. And she adds on this metallic little red clutch, fun bracelet. Here we have all of these interesting straps going on, this little cutout detail at the waist, and it takes a very simple, or rather plain kind of concept, the black dress, the simple black dress, and makes it something much more interesting. Here we have a lot of different elements going on. So here, the fun little geometric blocks paired with some color blocking here. Jeans and this very slinky or silky kind of top. Here, a very traditional or conventional dress shape with this really interesting print. And here, another conventional dress shape with a super unexpected pattern. And then when she wears something like a little more traditional, too structured, nothing really occupying the more fantasy, iridescent kind of side, it gets a little boring. So same thing going on with Kristen Stewart, the traditional kind of power suit turned on its side with the interesting cropping, the cuffs, the ultra high rise waist, and this interesting mesh geometric crop top underneath with all of this jewelry. Here she's mixing these kind of boxier, modest in terms of, really revealing the figure kind of shapes with the jacket and the jeans and the sneakers, very almost teenage boy like, something like a teenage boy in high school would probably pick out, with this much more slinky and more delicate kind of crop top with the pink sunglasses and the very ethereal bleached blonde hair. Here again, another kind of take on that blazer suit with these very modern, unexpected touches. And then here, when she tries too hard to embody that very traditional femininity without really adding more of those masculine elements, looks very separate from her. And again, same thing with Camila Cabello. We have all of these different textures, different fits, different elements. Here we have this very unexpected little level change with a skirt, the different shapes going on. And these are very stylish on her. She looks super, alluring and magnetic. Very, very interesting. Same thing going on here with these, breezy trousers and this flowy kind of top and the fun little pink hat. And then here, kind of like with Kristen Stewart, when she tries too hard or too much to appear like the very conventional, kind of one-sided feminine like archetype, it looks a little separate from her. She doesn't look as embodied in her own energy. Next up, we have Michelle Pfeiffer. Two very different outfits here. This very high-waist trouser and then collared top. I love the stripes on the collared top, the fun little earrings that look like they should not work on it, but they do. And then here she's wearing something completely different. Of course, this is a movie still, not something of her own style. So it's a little bit more staged, but you can still see that she looks great in these very aquatic tones, iridescence, sparkle, and I love this more modern kind of hairstyle with this more slinky and revealing, more womanly kind of dress. Then here, her own styles, or I guess I would say maybe not her own completely, but I'm assuming she has some choice over who her stylist is, and she approves of the clothes she wears. So here she looks great in this jumpsuit. Again, we're seeing different fabrics, different finishes, little unexpected touch with this necklace, this iridescent finish on the jumpsuit that has a more classic or clean touch. And the jumpsuit, in my opinion, is something that's more modern. It's the pants, which are traditionally masculine, instead of a dress, and the more feminine top put together. And here we have this really interesting jacket. This pattern is so beautiful on her, and this interesting, very high neck collar with these very elongated pants. So lots of different ratios going on. It's a very dynamic look. And then here we have a very traditional, conventional dress, and it's pretty, but it just doesn't look like it belongs on her. Next up, we have Emma Roberts. Same thing going on. Just look at the different patterns and elements that she's wearing. She likes to put very interesting touches in her footwear. Here she has this animal print, and here these loafers have these interesting star-shaped studs, different shapes, different fits. Here again, bridging simple shapes, some flowy fabric here, and this fun kind of pattern. Very harmonious on her. Then here, just a little bit too much flower power, conventional, kind of feminine shape, and it's just not as powerful. Next up, we have Penelope Cruz. I think she's one of those style chameleons. She manages to look really good in so many different things. Here, she looks great in this mishmash of different fits, this really exaggerated blazer with a very powerful shoulder pads, this fun printed tee, these really interesting shoes. Like the pants kind of create a little bubble at the bottom, but it works because she wears it so cleanly. It's very crisp on her. Here, some fun color blocking, little hat, and then the gorgeous flowy hair. And then we have different colors, different textures here, little bits of fun with a shoe here. These are really cute. But then over here, when it's just a little bit too much poof and not enough streamlined directness, not as good. She is a flamboyant gamine, which synergizes really well with the Venus and Pisces style, in my opinion. And here, this one's okay. I would just say that it's a little bit one-dimensional. There's just not that much yin and yang going on in here. That's why it doesn't look as crisp and as alluring as this dress. Next, we have Kristen Dunst, and these two photos here, and she's wearing different elements. I think they look better. She introduced a little bit more variety into the fabrics and into the finishes. So this is just a good example of like a good base or foundation when it comes to wearing different ends of the spectrum, the visual or textile, fabric, fashion spectrum. But you do want to add just a little bit of more magical, iridescent, kind of fantasy inspired detail to make it pop. And then here we have something a bit more appropriate to that. So she has this traditional blazer, but she wears it with this highly patterned dress and a really cute detail of the shoe, much more color. And yes, this is a still from her movie, but very, very structured dresses. So these traditional dresses have so much stiff fabric, so much like architecture in the actual item. And then they also feature so much detailing, this very fantastical, ornate kind of embroidery and color. So that's where I'm seeing a little bit more of that yin yang as well. Here for a more modern real life example, she looks really cute with this matte crisp coat and this shimmery little dress underneath, the two-tone shoes. Here with the playful kind of top going on, it's like patterned, and then the fun little tights. And then here, yes, we have some contrasts with the colors, but everything is just a little too matte, too old-fashioned, nothing really modern or flowy or soft about it, except her hair, but not quite. And lastly, we have Kate Hudson, again with the disparate elements, the blazer suits with something sexy underneath, something very body-bearing underneath, the different patterns. Here, this really cute high-waisted kind of trouser pant look with this interesting sash waist, and this much more different top she has underneath with all of these beads. Looks really dynamic on her. And then here, this is still a cute look, but it's just a little bit more one-dimensional, so you don't get that same visual pop. So that is it for my Venus in Pisces style video. If you have this placement, let me know if this resonates with you. Pisces is very enigmatic. It's hard to pin down. So this video was a little challenging, but I always have fun looking at all of these photos and getting more acquainted with people's different styles. So I will see you in the next video. Bye.